Sorry it happened to you, son. Okay. Oh boy. Are you able to go on for another half an hour? Or I know when we talked originally.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'd love to.
Okay.
If you're up for it.
Yeah. I mean, I was scared, honestly, when we were trying to use Skype. It was, the echo was like 3 times. Every time you said a word, I heard it 5 times. So.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I've moved into another room, which I'm hopeful is less echoey and not too painful for anybody listening in. So, yeah. Can I just actually say something to Kevin now?
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, come back.
Share something with him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Did you, I'm asking a question and I just need a yes-no. Did you sense who it was that had pulled you back? Because I got the sense of a lady.
I have no idea, but I just felt like somebody pushed me or pulled me back, and there
yeah,
I was
it was
back
a
in the
lady.
hospital.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to share this. I'm hopeful this is okay.
Yeah,
for
it's
me
okay.
To share
Totally.
Yeah,
the lady
please do.
Yeah, the lady that, because when you were talking about it, I just got a sense of a lady coming and standing beside you, and I don't know what your room looks like there that you're working in, but she said, okay, all right. She said, you didn't dress up this evening, and she's laughing as she's saying it, because I get the sense with you, when you are going out somewhere, you put on your, what is it, the spit and sawdust kind of thing, you get yourself all spruced up. But she said it was almost like tonight you didn't have to do that. You were just there and you were having fun. But this lady is on Mum's side of the family, and she said he was such a beautiful baby, and he still has that beautiful sparkle in his eye. And she said, and if he actually, and please don't take this the wrong way, she said, if he actually pulled his hair off of his face, you would see his beautiful eyes.
Now, that sounds like my mother. You know, she was very close to.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because she was very close to my 8 kids, and Kevin normally dresses really decent, but I think that night it was after work.
I know, that's what she was saying.
Yeah, it was after work, and he wasn't. Get closer.
I normally dress heavily geared. Like, if you see any of my photos.
Well, that's what she said, and she said it was almost like today you were rushing, and it was like, well, I don't have to dress up, I'm fine.
Exactly. And I wasn't wearing hardly any gear that night.
Yeah, he was on his motorcycle. He was throwing 300 feet off his motorcycle on the freeway.
And I took my dad's helmet that night too, and it wasn't even my sized helmet.
Okay, so that's why, because she was saying it's almost like hair in your eyes, and you couldn't, you know, if you'd had the hair back off your face, you would have seen better. She's on Mum's side of the family. And this is either grandma or great-grandmother, but I'm getting the sense of grandmother because just the way she said he had such beautiful eyes as a baby.
Yeah, that was my mom. Yeah, you're 100% on that. That's
okay,
I'm kind of like, wow.
Smiling, but and it's almost like you're doubting what I'm saying, and I'm not you, but me. I was doubting. You know, see, this is the skeptic in me. I'm going, well, give me something more here, because you're going to come in when we're doing this, and you're going to interrupt the show here. She said, no, I just want to tell him that I love him, and everything's fine, and it wasn't his time to go. And it's just the way she's saying it. It's almost like matter-of-factly, but you would have gone, you know that. You were ready to go, she said, but they pushed you back.
Yeah, because, again, we live near Tacoma, Washington. I was in Hemet, California. And I got a phone call from my wife, and she said, hey, Kevin was involved in a motorcycle accident. They don't know if he's going to live. He was throwing 300 feet on the freeway. That's a long distance to be thrown off a motorcycle. And it was really, really scary. And then all of a sudden, he seemed to pull right through, and it just,
Yeah. Well, she said he was ready to go, but they weren't ready to keep him there. Because he has still lots of stuff to do, and I don't know what you do, Kevin, but whatever it is, you're not you need to focus on more what you want to do. Because whatever's happening at the moment, you're dithering.
Well, a few days
That
later...
was what she's saying. Okay, not me. She's saying you're dithering.
Well, a few days later, I was like, where's my motorcycle? Where's my motorcycle? And then I found out it was torn to pieces. Then I ended up buying a brand new one. It's not really a brand new one. It was like a couple years older. But I ended up buying another one, and I got back on, and I still rode, and I still ride to this day, even with a bad shoulder.
Yeah, but that does make sense what you said, because that's one thing my mother used to. All my kids, she'd always complain about their hair hanging in their eyes, and that they had such great eyes and all this stuff, and yeah. Well, you nailed that one.
Yeah, well, she's standing here with a big beaming smile on her face, and she said, "I said I'd come back."
Yeah. Wow. So now, how long actually have you been doing this? I mean, you mentioned since the 60s. So, I mean, when did you get heavy into it where you were giving readings? When did that start?
I suppose in my 40s, when I was in my 40s more than anything. I played and dabbled. As I said, I was balancing corporate world, and I would get myself into trouble with people because I tried to keep it what I did in those days, very much cloak and dagger. It wasn't the kind of thing you openly discuss. So I would, I suppose, decide on whether I would tell somebody something rather than, just blurt it out. I suppose that comes with age and just knowing that you can't do this anymore because it gets you into trouble.
Yeah.
So, there came a point, as I say, when the dealing or the creation of the Oracle deck, and prior to that, I always say to people, be careful. We get signs and direction from Spirit every single moment of every day. As I say, we all have a guardian angel that stays with us, that's there through from conception to death, and they're there trying to guide us, and we still have free will. That's that time when afterwards we go, I wish I'd just listened to my gut feeling or my inner self or my guardian angel and gone with that. But we still have that free will that says, I think I know better, and then usually we don't. Well, I've been given sort of indications to give up my work and do my spiritual work full time. And I was going, but I like my paycheck. I don't like my job. I love my paycheck, but I don't love my job. But like everything else, we get into that sort of point where we don't want to give up the security, if you like.
Well, you got to eat.
And I would think, sorry?
I said you got to eat.
Sorry,
you got to pay.
Exactly.
You got to pay bills, so yeah, you got to work.
Yeah, and it's a bit like the person wants to become the next Phil Collins or whatever, or the next whatever, artist, and they keep doing it, but they're, have to feed themselves, feed their family or whatever. So I was, going, I want to, I don't want to, and I suppose I was being given signs, give up your corporate world and go and do your clairvoyant stuff more than you are. And I didn't listen. And I always jokingly say to people, we get sent signs, we get sent indicators. And if we don't listen, they send in Guido and the boys to take us out. And it's just my metaphor for it. But I literally did get taken out. I was involved in a car accident. I was rear-ended. And anybody that knows the metaphors of life, when you get a kick up the bum, it usually means you're not listening. You need to get on and do something. So I was taken out from my work, and prior to that, actually at work, because it was a two bang hit, as it were, I was in the stockroom, and this box came down and hit me on the back of the neck. So it literally, I got whacked on the back of the neck, and then I'm going to physio, and then I get rear-ended. So I got basically the thwack on the back of the head and then the kick up the butt. So they did it in a double whammy with me. And I'm going, I wasn't particularly appreciative of either of them because it was a lot of pain. And so going through the transition as you do when you're healing, I was going, okay, well, I'm going to be going back to work. And then my boss said, well, no, I've replaced you with somebody else. I'm going, oh, joy, thank you. So then I went into panic mode, as you do, because like, now what am I going to do? And what I kept on hearing from Spirit is, you know, you need to do your spirit work. Just focus on that. So at that time, my husband, Chris, was going on tour, and he said, well, you know, you haven't got a job. Come with me and hang out with me and, you know, just relax and see what comes of it. And, of course, he does past life regression, and he was going to all these different places, and people go, well, you do readings. Why don't you do some readings? I'm going, well, I suppose I could, yeah. And as I say, the rest was history. But during that trip, it was somebody that, you know, did a reading for me. I did an exchange of energy, if you like, and I did a reading for her and she did a reading for me, and Spirit was saying, well, you know, you've got to create this deck, this oracle deck. I'm going, no, I don't think so. I know nothing about oracle decks. You know, I play with them and use them, but I certainly don't know how to create one. And then all of a sudden I was getting all this information through, and I'm going, okay, this is, you know, I said, Chris, you know, I'm getting this info. And he said, well, just go with it and see what happens. Again, for being very supportive. And so, you know, I created an oracle deck, and I'm going, okay, now what am I supposed to do with it? I'm now going to find a publisher or somebody to do this for me. And so that was a whole new journey. And in the end, I ended up self-publishing. And, you know, my deck sold worldwide now. And, you know, would I have done that if I stayed in corporate world? No, I wouldn't have. I know I wouldn't have, because the opportunity wouldn't have been there. I was trying to balance work and my spiritual work. So, yeah, sometimes we get, as I say, the thwack on the back of the head and the boot up the bum to do things.
Yeah.
So would I tell somebody to not listen to what they're getting and follow it? No, listen. Don't be like me and the stupid person that had to do it the hard way. But again, I think that was possibly my skepticism in myself, of doubting myself, of, no, I don't want to do this, you know. So don't doubt yourself. Just do it. Follow your passion, you know, and that's part of it.
Now, you brought...
So, yes, in my 40s.
Oh, wow. Now, you brought up these cards. Why don't you tell people where they can, you know, find your cards? And I also noticed you wrote a book.
Oh, yes. That was short stories, actually. It's not really related to my spiritual work. It was something my dad wanted me to do. And again, that was divine intervention again, that he said, you know, I've written all these stories over the years, and I've entertained the family in so many different ways. I have twin brothers, which I mentioned at the beginning, and quite a few of the stories in there are relating to some actual events that did happen, and some that were changed to create an even funnier story. So yes, I've written a book, but it's not metaphysically related. It's more sort of short stories.
Well,
but yeah, the oracle deck.
Well, can I ask you a question? If you wouldn't have done the decks, okay, or whatever, and you didn't get into what you're in, would you have ever done that book and got it published, self-published, or published, or?
Probably not, because again, it was my dad that said, you've got to get these published, you've got to get them, you know, you've got to do it. And I suppose I call it a vanity book, because it was more that I wanted it printed so he could have the book. And you know, it was 2 years later that he died. So yes, I'm glad he pushed me, because would I have created the book? And you know, he was very proud of my book, and he was very proud of my decks as well. You know, he, as I say, he's a great supporter in my work, even though he said I don't understand most of it, which is fine. But yeah, I don't think I would have done. You know, you're right. I probably wouldn't have created the deck, and then it wouldn't have sent me on to write the book and so forth. So yes, sometimes we're given opportunities which transcend into other things or transform themselves into other things, and that's sort of the way it is. And, you know, if you've got a good supportive team there that's wanting you to do this and helping you along the way, then yes, it makes it easier, definitely. You know, if my husband hadn't have been there and said, you know, self-publish, because I'd actually been given offered a contract my publishing agency to publish